In the previous video, we added attachments to a couple of our feature layers and to a table in our feature service. In this video, we are going to delete some attachments from a feature in our Park Trails feature layer. So open up the delete attachments.py script from the attachments folder. The attachment manager for a feature layer has a delete method. This will allow us to identify an individual attachment to delete for a feature. Let's head over and check out the documentation for the delete method. Here we have the delete method for the attachment manager, and it removes an attachment from a feature layer. There are two required parameters: the OID, it says here it's a required string of the object ID, it can be a string or an integer, and then the attachment ID. Now we haven't seen the attachment ID as of yet. When we access an attachment, it has a set of properties. One is an ID, there's a name, content type, keywords, EXIF info, global ID, parent global ID, and I can't remember if I said name, but the name of the file. We're going to check this out now when we head back to our script. We first access ArcGIS Online using our GIS class and supplying in our home string. We'll assign our GIS object to a variable called AGOL. Then use our GIS object and use the content manager get method supplying in our feature service item ID, which I'll paste in now for my notepad. The get method will return an item object. From this item object, we're going to use the layers property to access the list of feature layer objects and grab the second feature layer object that represents our park trails and assign that feature layer object to a variable called FL. First up, I'm going to show you how to access the attachments information that I was just talking about there when we were over in the documentation. The attachment manager for a feature layer object has a get list method where when we supply in the OID of the feature that we're interested in, it will return a list of attachments information. It is going to be a list of dictionaries. If I show you the attachments for OID1 for our park trails, we have three attachments. We have FDM Trail 1, FDM Trail API, and FDM Trail Xmas, and they're all JPEGs. I'll go back to the script, and I'll assign the calling of the getList method to a variable called attachments. I'm going to print the attachment to screen. So I'll run this script, and we can see our list of dictionaries returned. We have our attachment ID, which is an integer. We have our global ID, our parent global ID, the name of the file, the content type, the size, keywords if we set any, and EXIF info. And we can see there are three dictionaries returned in this list that represent the three attachments for our FDM Trails feature in our Park Trails feature layer. I want to delete where the ID is equal to 2, so I'm going to delete the FDM Trail API JPEG. I'll comment out the example where we printed that information, and I'll open up the second example. Here I'm going to call the feature layer object and access the attachment manager, and I'm going to use the delete method. The delete method has two required parameters: OID, and I'll set that to 1. That's our FDM Trails feature in our Park Trails feature layer, and then the attachment ID I want to set to equal 2, as we saw from the list of dictionaries below. I'll assign the calling of the delete method to a variable called status, and I'll print that status to screen. So I'll rerun this script. Our script is complete, and we can see our delete attachment results where it says object ID, but this is really the attachment ID of 2 has successfully been deleted. So let's head over to ArcGIS Online. I'm going to click back up and scroll across. You can see the 3 are still there. But if I refresh the page, go back into our Park Trails layer, take a look at our FDM trail at the top, we now have 2 attachments left because the FDM Trail API JPEG has been deleted. Next, I'm going to delete the FDM Trail Xmas JPEG using the name of the attachment rather than the ID. At heart, I will be using the ID, but I'm going to target the attachment based on the name. I'll go back to the script. I'll comment out our second example and open up our final example. Here we're going to delete an attachment based on the attachment name. So for each attachment returned from the get list method where OID equals 1, that was the list of dictionaries we saw below. If the attribute name property is equal to FDM trail xmas.jpg, then delete that attachment. So when calling the delete method, we're supplying in our object ID of 1, and the attachment ID is the attachment ID property. So when FDM trail xmas.jpg is found, it'll use that attachment ID, which is 3, to delete that attachment from the feature. I'll run the script. Our script is complete with delete attachment results, where our attachment ID of 3 has successfully been deleted. Now back over to ArcGIS Online once more. When I refresh this page, we will see that our FDM trail xmas.jpg has been deleted. Refresh now. Go back into our park trails layer. Scroll across, we now only have one attachment in our FDM trails, which is the object ID of 1, and our FDM trails xmas.jpg has been deleted. Make sure to continue on to the next video in this series, and also make sure to subscribe. Take care.